our contestants are currently tied. Whoever answers this question correctly will take home the grand prize. What is the dumbest video idea I've ever come up with? Zebizonka's World of Pure Imagination.
Your sleigh ride parody.
Mickey Mouse Multiverse?
Correct! I cut my hair. I've had this idea for a while. It all started when I asked my sister, hey, do you think that all the Mickey Mouse shorts are connected, or do you think each one is their own separate universe? And she told me, of course they're their own separate universes. Stupid. And so, I forgot about it. Until today! It was obvious to me with the lab episodes in the Mickey Mouse shorts that there are some episodes with very clear connections. So, I decided to watch as much modern Mickey Mouse content as I could. Specifically with this style, so nothing like Illusion Island, Epic Mickey, Mickey Go Local, Get a Horse, or anything like that. Anything with this specific style is in play. And yes, this does include Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Unfortunately, by the time I get this video out, I wouldn't have ridden it. Oh well. Everything considered for analysis is as followed. All 5 seasons of the original short series, The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse, Duck the Halls, The Scariest Story Ever, including its 3 story segments, The Wonderful Seasons of Mickey Mouse, including Fall, Winter, Summer, and Spring, separate segments will be counted separately, of course, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Here are the ground rules. 1. If any episodes have matching characters, locations, or objects, they should be considered for connections. 2. Commonly occurring characters like the Sensational Six and others from the main cast, i.e. Pete, Clarabelle, Horace Horsecollar, and Professor Von Drake, are not reason for connections. 3. Mickey and Minnie can only have 1 episode where they meet each other in each timeline. We can't have timeline shenanigans. 4. Some connections are more important than others, so they're allowed to overrule less important connections. 5. This is just my analysis, so I'm bound to make mistakes. If you have your own thoughts, leave them in the comments. Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it! Unsurprisingly, a bunch of the episodes have such unique universes that they stand alone from the rest. This could be because of what they are, where they're from, or I just couldn't find any connections. These will be the standalones. Season 1, Episode 5, Tokyo Go. They live in Japan. Season 1, Episode 12, Oh Soul Minnie. They live in Italy. Season 1, Episode 15, Flipper Bubutosis. Donald is terrified of doctors. That's not really a reason, I just couldn't find anything. Season 1, Episode 16, Tapped Out. Pete is a wrestler with hair. I mean, we could count this because he gets scalped, but I don't really care. Season 2, Episode 3, Eau de Minnie. I had no notes here, whoops. Season 2, Episode 7, Mumbai Madness. They live in India. Season 2, Episode 11, Clogged. They're in the Netherlands. Season 2, Episode 14, Workin' Stiff. Goofy has a job interview and sleep problems. Season 2, Episode 15, Al Rojo Vivo. They're in Spain. Season 2, Episode 18, Bronco Busted. Donald is mistaken as a horse. Season 2, Episode 20, Dance Vidania. They live in Russia. Season 3, Episode 2, One Man Band. They live in England. Season 3, Episode 4, Movie Time. They live somewhere tropical, I think. Season 3, Episode 10, Roughin' It. The guys go camping. Season 3, Episode 12, Turkish Delights. They live in Turkey. Season 3, Episode 16, No Reservations. This one's a little hard because there's a nearly identical bird in Season 4, Episode 15, New Shoes. But because of the color difference, I decided that I can't confirm if the two are related. Season 4, Episode 4, Locked in Love. They live in South Korea. Season 4, Episode 8, Nature's Wonderland. They get lost in rainbow caverns and most likely die. Sorry. Season 5, Episode 3, House Painters. Minnie has a weird living house. Season 5, Episode 6, Safari So Good. They get lost in the wild and likely end up living there. Season 5, Episode 11, Out Back At Ya. They live in Australia. Season 5, Episode 16, Our Floating Dreams. They live in Thailand. Wonderful World, Episode 1, Cheese Wranglers. They live in the Wild West. Wonderful World, Episode 10, Just the Four of Us. Mickey and Minnie are horror villains. I really liked that episode, actually. Wonderful World. Ugh. Episode 14, Bird Watching. Mickey is mistaken for a bird. Wonderful World. Episode 17, Untold Treasures. Mickey and Minnie are pirates. Halloween Special Part 1. Mickey is Frankenstein's monster. Halloween Special Part 2. Vampires exist. Halloween Special Part 3. A witch turns boys into pie. I considered the hen from Mickey's book in Wonderful World Episode 14 for a connection to Season 4 Episode 9, but that would also mean connecting it to this segment, which would mean killing off the duck triplets, which wouldn't work in Season 5 Episode 4, which I believe comes before the former. Now, I know the thing for the Halloween specials are a bit of a cop-out, but I also don't care. And then the Spring Special Part 1, where they are plants. Whew, that was a lot of standalones. Now, we're gonna get into some of the smaller universes. Episodes that were only connected to a few others. I'll be listing the episodes in episode order, but I'll give my theories on when I think they happen chronologically. Season 1, Episode 3, Yodelberg. This is the origin episode. Season 1, Episode 9, Bad Ear Day. Mickey has a pillow with the Alps on it from Season 1, Episode 3. My current theory is that Mickey and Minnie originally lived in the Alps before moving to Canada, partially because of the hockey game and the small clock here. Season 1, Episode 10, Ghoul Friend. Goofy is dead! Season 5, Episode 17, Gone to Pieces. Same squirrel as Season 1, Episode 10. This one is dumb. Goofy falls apart and Gone to Pieces, so my theory is that it happens again, and this time he's not fixed. But because he's Goofy, he comes back to life.
Potato!
Season 1, Episode 13, Potato Land. Season 2, Episode 10, Mickey Monkey. The animators had Donald spit a lot. That's it. Season 1, Episode 8, Pandemonium, the origin episode. Season 4, Episode 2, Canned. Oswald is shown on a billboard, and his only other appearance in Season 4, Episode 13, Year of the Dog. I can't be certain about the timeline here. My best theory is that it starts with Canned and ends with Year of the Dog, since Mickey's friends only appear in that episode.
Well, come storms your summer like a swimming hole.
Season 1, Episode 6, Stayin' Cool, the origin episode. Season 1, Episode 14, Sleepwalkin'. Goofy has an almost identical swimsuit as Season 1, Episode 6. Season 4, Episode 1, Swimmin' Hole. This time, the trio has almost identical swimsuits as Season 1, Episode 6. The guys really like swimming in this timeline. What can I say? Season 2, Episode 6, Captain Donald, the origin episode. Seems to be a bit of a theme here. Season 2, Episode 9, Spacewalkies. Bit of a stretch, but because Mickey likely helps Donald fly after the events of Season 2, Episode 6, he probably becomes an astronaut. Season 5, Episode 13, Over the Moon. The moon has almost an identical design to Planet Pluto from Season 2, Episode 9. Pretty simple timeline. Mickey can fly. Season 1, Episode 19, Oh Football Classico. the origin episode. Season 3, episode 6, Feliz Cumpleaños. I'm only considering this one because it has Jose in both Season 1, episode 19, and Season 4, episode 12, Carnival, which is also set in Brazil. A likely answer to this is that this universe's Mickey is friends with Jose, and they visit each other sometimes for the festivities. Before we get into any of the longer sagas, I think we should get into the... There are some connectors that appear way more often than others. These are characters, locations, and even motifs that I believe originate from the shorts, which is why I consider them major connectors. The walrus appears in multiple episodes of the series, and is usually used as a judge or a mayor type character. My guess is that he started as one and ended up becoming the other. Which came first? That's up for debate. You'll see later, but he's such a prominent character that one of the sagas revolves around him. So, as it turns out, this little girl shows up many times throughout the later half of the series. Not as many times as the walrus, but she shows up frequently enough to be brought up. This weird living scooter abomination is a more prominent character than you'd expect. In fact, he appears in multiple episodes throughout the world. Always announces himself with a roadrunner like, meep meep. I have no idea how old this stupid fish is. There's this one tune that goes, la 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 la, and it showed up so many times that it has driven me nuts. There are lots of episodes where Professor Von Drake gets the main trio into all sorts of problems, and these are the lab episodes, which will show up later. Weirdly, something always happens to Donald in these episodes. Season 2, Episode 5, Goofy's Grandma. Goofy has the same house as Season 5, Episode 4. Season 2, Episode 5, Goofy's First Love. There's a similar apartment interior as Minnie's from Season 5, Episode 4. Season 4, Episode 9, The Birthday Song. Mickey, supposedly, gets over his fear of surprises from Season 5, Episode 4. Season 5, Episode 4, Surprise! The origin episode. Birthdays play a pretty important role in this timeline. As far as the timeline goes, Surprise is most likely before the birthday song, because in the latter episode, Mickey is ecstatic to hear that he's getting a surprise, while in the former, he is traumatized by surprises. The other connections aren't as important. In this saga, the most common connection is obviously the walrus. Any episode without obvious connections here has the walrus in them. Season 1, Episode 11, Dog Show. Season 2, Episode 13, Doggone Biscuits. Pluto stops a dumpster in Season 3, Episode 1 as a result of his muscles. Season 3, Episode 1, Coned. Pluto has a cone, likely from Season 1, Episode 11. Season 4, Episode 7, Three-Legged Race. Season 5, Episode 12, Our Homespun Melody. Season 5, Episode 14, Easy Street. Goofy pretends to be a real dog like in Season 1, Episode 11. Wonderful World, Episode 16, I Heart Mickey. Same barbershop quartet as Summer Special. And the Summer Special. Winter Special Part 1. Winter Special Part 2. Winter Special Part 3. The Snow Globe confirms that all three parts are in the same universe. My best guess for which episode is the beginning of this saga would be Our Homespun Melody, as it's the only one of 2 episodes where Mickey has a southern accent. I believe that the story here is that Mickey once had a prized pig he showed off to competitions and recitals. However, once his pig passed on, he still longed for the spotlight, which is why he adopted Pluto, and the two were inseparable and masters at competition. Soon, he met Minnie, and the two of them would partake in the annual three-legged race, where they would unfortunately lose every time. That is, until one year when Minnie decided to race with Daisy, and that's where I believe the time ends with three-legged race. I mean, come on, look at Mickey and Minnie, they're old as heck.
Bigger, bigger. Bigger, bigger.
The Showtime saga is the timeline where Mickey and Minnie are confirmed actors. Any episode that's remotely like a show or an origin story for their fame will be considered for this timeline. Let's get into it. Season 1, Episode 2, No Service, the first appearance of the Boardwalk. Season 1, Episode 18, The Adorable Couple. The Beast from Wonderful World Episode 5 appears. He might be an actor? Season 2, Episode 4, Down the Hatch. A lab episode, like Wonderful World Episode 2. Season 2, Episode 17, A Flower for Minnie. The tune on the beach is the same as the one that Minnie sings in Season 1, Episode 2. Season 3, Episode 3, Wish Upon a Coin. There's this very obvious title card at the end. Season 3, Episode 7, Wonders of the Deep. A lab episode, like Wonderful World Episode 2. Season 3, Episode 13, Sock Burglar. Pete has the same coat as Season 3, Episode 3. Season 3, Episode 14, Kool-Aid Melody. Minnie can play ukulele like in Season 1, Episode 2. Season 3, Episode 15, Entombed. Minnie has the same outfit as Wonderful World Episode 13. Season 3, Episode 17, Split Decisions. It's a lab episode like Wonderful World Episode 2. Season 3, Episode 18, Good Sports. A potential alternate timeline caused by Season 5, Episode 8. Season 4, Episode 3, Touchdown and Out. The Beagle Boys from Season 3, Episode 13 appear, as well as Chernabog, but that's not as important. Season 4, Episode 6, Shipped Out. Mickey and Minnie get stranded on the island from Wonderful World Episode 12. Season 4, Episode 10, The Perfect Dream, which inspires the story in Wonderful World Episode 7. That's just a theory, though. Mickey! Season 4, Episode 16, Springtime. They're in a play, like in Season 1, Episode 18. Season 4, Episode 19, Roll 'em. Now, I know this episode essentially means that every single episode of this series is a result of Mickey and Minnie's acting, so it means every episode is in the same timeline. Shut up! That's not how this works. I put way too much time into this for it to all be one timeline. Now bear with me, okay? Okay. Season 5, Episode 8, Out of Time. Lab episode, like Wonderful World Episode 2. Season 5, Episode 15, Two Can't Play. They suck at sports, like in Season 4, Episode 3. Wonderful World Episode 2, House of Tomorrow. There's the same song from Season 2, Episode 17. Wonderful World Episode 5, Keep on Rollin'. The Boardwalk from Season 1, Episode 2, The Beagle Boys from Season 3, Episode 13, and nothing else because I read that wrong. Wonderful World Episode 6, The Big Good Wolf. It says BBW from Season 3, Episode 13. I don't know what that means. Wonderful World Episode 7, The Brave Little Squire. They're acting, like in Season 1, Episode 18. Wonderful World Episode 12, The Enchanting Hut. They live somewhere tropical, like in Season 3, Episode 14. Wonderful World Episode 13, Duet for Two. Mickey and Minnie are performing, like in Season 1, Episode 18. Spring Special Part 3. Mickey takes care of his memories from his acting job from Season 1, Episode 18. Runaway Railway. Kraken and Submarine from Season 3, Episode 7. Steamboat Silly. Mickey goes over his acting career from Season 1, Episode 18. In this timeline, Mickey and Minnie meet in Hawaii in Kool-Aid Melody. Additionally, this is where Goofy got bald. At one point, they moved to America to pursue the life of fame. This seems like a common theme in these shorts, huh? Anyways, things weren't going well as seen in Roll 'em until, by a stroke of luck, Mickey and Minnie finally got cast. After that, we get to see their various shows, including The Adorable Couple, Springtime, and The Brave Little Squire. In the middle of this, Mickey is unable to get rid of his mementos in Part 3 of the Spring Special. In Duet for Two, I believe they retired until Huckster McBackstabber tricked them into fame again, until they finally decided to rest once more. And, of course, the timeline ends at the last episode, Steamboat Silly. Am I sounding crazy yet? Why did I dedicate hours of my life to this? And finally, we have the longest saga of the Mickey Mouse multiverse, the Hero Saga, where Mickey prioritizes being a good person to everyone around him. Unlike the mouse today. Whatever, let's get into it. Season 1, Episode 1, Croissant de Triomphe. Scoot from Season 3, Episode 8. Season 1, Episode 4, New York Weenie. Same setting as Wonderful World Episode 4. Season 1, Episode 7, Gasp. Same apartment as Season 2, Episode 8. Season 1, Episode 17, Third Wheel. First appearance of the restaurant. Season 2, Episode 1, Cable Car Chaos. Minnie has the ability to become buff, like in Wonderful World Episode 9. Season 2, Episode 2, Fire Escape. The old lady from Season 4, Episode 17, wow, she appears. My bad, wow. Can't frickin' read these dark highlights. Season 2, Episode 8, The Boiler Room. There was a bad toilet mentioned in Season 4, Episode 15. Season 2, Episode 16, Bottle Shocked. Mickey has a phone ring with the same melody as Minnie's song from Season 3, Episode 8. Season 2, Episode 19, Black and White. Mickey turns white due to fear, like in Season 2, Episode 8. Season 3, Episode 5, Shifting Gears. Same car brand as Season 3, Episode 8. I know they don't look exactly the same, just bear with me here. These living cars are likely the same brand, and we don't see them anywhere else. So they're connected. Season 3, Episode 8, Roadhogs, the origin episode. Season 3, Episode 9, No. Gubbles and the cat from Season 1, Episode 7 appear here. Season 3, Episode 11, Couple Sweaters. Mickey has a hallucinogenic nightmare like in Season 2, Episode 19. Season 4, Episode 5, Bee Inspired. The same bee as Season 4, Episode 15. Season 4, Episode 11, Feed the Birds. Tuppence is the same bird as the birds in Wonderful World Episode 8. Season 4, Episode 14, The Fancy Gentleman. There's almost an identical fox in Wonderful World Episode 18. I'm assuming they're relatives because of how differently they act. Probably twins, I don't know. Season 4, Episode 15, New Shoes. Same restaurant as Season 1, Episode 17. Season 4, Episode 17, Dumb Luck. The cop from Season 1, Episode 4. Season 4, Episode 18, Flushed. Gubbles and the cat from Season 1, Episode 7 appear once more. Season 5, Episode 1, Amor Motor. Scoot from Season 3, Episode 8. Season 5, Episode 2, A Pete Scorned. Mortimer from Season 3, Episode 9 appears. There's a weird love triangle here, or I guess hate triangle. Seriously, what were the writers thinking? Season 5, Episode 5, Hats Enough. The same bikers as Season 3, Episode 8. Season 5, Episode 7, Whom the Booth Tolls. Minnie sings the same tune as in Season 3, Episode 8, and the same trolley driver from Season 2, Episode 1 appears. Season 5, Episode 9, My Little Garden. Mickey and Minnie have another failed garden in Spring Special Part 2. Season 5, Episode 10, You, Me, and Fifi. Fifi from Wonderful World Episode 3 appears. That's another dark highlight, my goodness. Season 5, Episode 18, Carried Away. Girl from Season 4, Episode 15. Wonderful World Episode 3, Hard to Swallow. Mickey's house appears here. Wow. Wonderful World Episode 4, School of Fish. Gubbles from Season 1, Episode 7 appears. Wonderful World Episode 8, An Ordinary Date. The same restaurant from Season 1, Episode 17. Wonderful World Episode 9, Supermarket Scramble. The girl from Season 4, Episode 15 appears. Wonderful World Episode 11, House Ghosts. Mickey has the same house as Wonderful World Episode 3. Wonderful World Episode 15, Bellboys. Potentially the same setting as Season 2, Episode 1, and the same goat as Season 2, Episode 2. Wonderful World 18, Disappearing Act. The same theater as Season 2, Episode 19. Wonderful World Episode 19, Once Upon an Apple. The girl from Season 4, Episode 15 appears. Cinderella from Season 1, Episode 1 appears. The same birds as Wonderful World Episode 8 appears. And Scoot from Season 3, Episode 8 appears. The Queen and Snow White were determined a coincidence. Wonderful World Episode 20, Game Night. The same house as Wonderful World Episode 3. The Halloween Special, The Old Lady from Season 4, Episode 17. Christmas Special, Pictures of Mickey's Family from the Halloween Special. Autumn Special, The Sweater from Season 3, Episode 11, and The Birds from Season 4, Episode 11. Spring Special Part 2, The Same Bees as Season 4, Episode 15. Okay, so here, Mickey and Minnie and Scoot would have met in Italy. They moved to France to start a cafe business, which is where they likely met Daisy. At some point, the four of them moved to America, kinda just doing their own thing. At some point, they met the other main characters. I'm not really certain what the ending is here, but you're welcome to put your theories in the comments. There! We did it! Every single Mickey Mouse episode categorized. I probably won't post for a while now. Bye. Oh no! The Sensational Six is ready to play, but some of our instruments are broken today. Thanks to friends just like you, my piano, as good as new.